Is it time for the Jacksonville Jaguars to go get a true wide receiver one for Trevor Lawrence by trading up in this draft and getting Rome Odunze, wide receiver out of the University of Washington? Trent Baalke has already been super aggressive in the first few weeks of free agency, and he's also been rumored to be interested in going and adding to this wide receiver room, whether it's potentially trading for Brandon Ayuk from the 49ers or trading for T. Higgins from the Bengals. It doesn't look like those are going to work, so I think this could be the best option for the Jaguars, for Baalke, and for Trevor Lawrence. And so here's what I want to do in this video. I wanted to look at potential trade partners for the Jaguars, how they could potentially trade up in this draft, what I think would be the best option for them, a potential trade package, and then how I believe this could be a win-win, a win for the Jaguars and a win with who they might potentially trade with in this draft. So who are potential trade partners? Who are looking to potentially trade back that are in the top 10 of this draft class? Number one is the Chargers. They're at pick number 5. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of conversation that they would be very interested in trading back. My thoughts on this, though, I think they're going to get a lot more than the 5th pick it's probably worth, because someone is going to trade up and try and go get a quarterback. Of course, the Chargers don't need a quarterback, so they may be able to get a king's ransom for that 5th spot, because someone may trade up and go get J.J. McCarthy or Jaden Daniels or whoever the best quarterback is available there. Another option is going to be pick number 8, and that is the Atlanta Falcons. And the Falcons may be interested because they selected their quarterback in free agency. They went and got their guy, Kirk Cousins. They obviously have a ton of young weapons that Kirk Cousins is going to be able to get the ball to. And so most likely they're going to look at specifically edge. Most mock drafts like them to go edge. And the top 3 guys, there's a really good shot that 1 or 2 of them are going to be available at pick 17. So that is an option as well. 2 other options could be the Chicago Bears at number 9. They have 2 top 10 picks with the number 1 overall pick, but they don't have a ton of other draft picks in this class. And so they may look to add some more draft capital to their 2024 draft class. My only concern here is that they might be very interested in a wide receiver like Rome Odunze, because they're going to build around who almost everyone thinks they're going to pick, and that is quarterback Caleb Williams. So that could be a dangerous, risky spot for the Jaguars. And then if you were to make it all the way to pick 10, the Jets at number 10, a lot of people are thinking they will go an offensive line route in this class. From 10 to about 25-30 is very heavy at offensive linemen, so I think they could certainly still go get their guy later in the draft, somewhere around the mid-first round where the Jaguars are at pick 17. So here's my best option for the Jaguars, is going to be pick number 8 with the Atlanta Falcons. And as I said, I think they're probably going to go edge rusher. So I think they could feel really comfortable trading back 9 spots and still get 1 or 2 of the best edge guys in this draft class. And we know that they've made big deals with the Jaguars. Of course, just over a year ago, they made a big trade giving Calvin Ridley to the Jaguars for 2 draft picks. And so there is a potentially good relationship, so Baalke may be able to call up and say, hey, let's make a deal. And here's what I think could be a win-win scenario. And I'll drop this in the comments, this trade scenario for the Jaguars and for the Atlanta Falcons, and would love to know your thoughts. Let me know if you love this trade, hate this trade. If you're a Falcons fan, say, hey, would you do it? Would you not do it? If you're a Jaguars fan, the same. Would you do it? Would you not do it? So here is the potential trade. So the Jaguars would offer to the Atlanta Falcons their first-round pick at number 17, also one of their 4th-round picks at pick 116, Zay Jones, their wide receiver, veteran presence, and then their 2025 second-round pick. All those are from the Jaguars, and the Jaguars receive from the Falcons the number 8 overall selection in 2024, and then because the Falcons have 2 6th-round picks, maybe the Jaguars are interested in one of those, so Falcons at pick number 187 in the 6th round. So here's why I think the Jaguars would view this trade as a win. And here's why I would say this is a move I would love to see as a Jaguars fan them go make. Number one, Rome Odunze's floor, to me, is significantly higher than the two guys most likely that would be available at 17. And that would be Brian Thomas Jr. and A.D. Mitchell out of LSU and UT. I like both the guys. They're freaks. They have really high potential, but they also are very boom or bust guys because they are more of one-hit wonders. Where for Rome Odunze, number one, he's gotten better every season at University of Washington, and he's had back-to-back seasons over 1,000 yards. And what you also love to see is that in 2023, you look at his numbers, and he was consistently dominant in just about every game. So Washington played 15 games in the 2023 season, going all the way to the national championship, and in 10 of those 15 games, Rome Odunze had over 1,000 yards. So you think about, okay, well, what about the other 5 games? Well, 4 of those 5 games, he has over 80 yards. So that means 14 out of 15 games, Rome Odunze is getting over 80 yards receiving for Washington. And then in that 5th game against Arizona, his worst game, he still had 5 catches for 64 yards, which is not a bad game at all, especially when you think that is his worst game. So his floor is significantly higher than a few of these guys that may be available for the Jaguars at pick 17, which is why I like them to trade up in this position. And again, I said this before, he's a hard worker. So we all saw this at the NFL Combine. He is the top wide receiver at practicing, working out at the Combine because Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors did not choose to work out. And so what does he do? He performs very, very well. He's 6'3", 212 pounds. He runs a low 4.4, good vertical, all this. But the thing that stuck out to me and a lot of people the most is that he was the last person to leave the NFL Combine because he wanted to get the best possible time for that 3-cone drill. And this is something a lot of his teammates say. This guy is an incredible leader. He's a hard worker. He plays through injuries. And to me, it screams a great fit with Trevor Lawrence. This is who Trevor Lawrence is. He's a guy who's a hard worker, a no-nonsense guy. He just wants to get his work done. And so I think Trevor is going to respect that a ton. I think Trevor is going to love an option like this of a guy that, hey, he's going to get in, he's going to work hard with me, we can practice routes over and over and over again, and it could be a really dynamic duo in Jacksonville. And so that's what I love, because not only is his floor significantly higher, but his ceiling is very, very high, which is why pretty much everyone has him as a top 10 pick in this very loaded 2024 draft class. So this could be, for the first time in nearly 20 years, that the Jaguars have a true wide receiver number one since Jimmy Smith, since his last season in Jacksonville in 2005. This could be a dynamic duo for the Jaguars for the next 10 plus years, the next decade plus. And he's a very affordable option, especially when you're looking at a guy like T. Higgins or a guy like Brandon Ayuk, who you would have to sign very, very soon to a massive $25+ million deal. So I love this deal for the Jaguars. Why I think that the Falcons would take this trade and also view this as a win. Number one, I already said this. I think there's a great chance that they get one of the best edge rushers in this draft class at pick 17. So you have Latu out of UCLA, Jared Verse out of FSU, or Dallas Turner out of Bama at pick 17. I think at least one of those guys, a really good chance is that 2 of these guys will be available at pick 17, so they still are able to get a home run pick at edge. They add a second-round pick in 2025, which hopefully you're getting a strong starter there for the future, because the Falcons do have a lot of picks early in this draft class, so you're able to keep loading, keep having a lot of high draft picks for the Falcons in this draft class, because they have first, second, and then 2 third-round picks, one of those being from the Jaguars for Calvin Ridley. They would also get a 4th-round pick, which hopefully would be a solid starter for them, or at least a guy that's going to make the team and give them good depth. Then they also get Zay Jones, who could be a very valuable veteran presence. The Falcons have a lot of young weapons in Bijan Robinson and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and so to have a veteran presence for that offense for Kirk Cousins could be a big win for them. Or if they don't love hopefully they love Kirk Cousins. If they don't love Zay Jones, they can always move on from that contract and waive him and get some cap clearance for the Falcons. And so here's the trade again. The Jaguars give up their first-round pick at pick 17, their fourth-round pick at 116, Zay Jones, their wide receiver, and then their 2025 second-round pick. The Jaguars would receive from the Falcons pick number 8 overall, first round, and then pick number 187 in the 6th round. And again, I feel like this is a win-win for both teams. Well, I would love to hear from you. Let me know if you would change this trade, tweak this trade at all. If you're a Falcons fan, would you accept it? If you're a Jaguars fan, would you accept it? What would you grade this trade for your team? My brothers and I, Joey and JT, we run a Jaguars podcast. And so check out some of our past episodes if you're Jaguars fans here on YouTube or all podcast platforms. We'd love to have you subscribe. We always love to connect. If you love content like this, let us know what else we could cover in the future. But hey, maybe it's time for the Jacksonville Jaguars to build a Roman empire by going and drafting Rome Odunze, trading up, getting a star wide receiver, potentially a superstar wide receiver for Trevor Lawrence. Let me know what you guys think.